Hi everyone. In the last class, we were discussing about the power sharing, which is in the first chapter of civics. So, in this chapter, we discussed what is the meaning of power sharing, the technique of sharing the power with the different levels of government or different body. In this chapter, we saw the example of power sharing which existed in Belgium and in Sri Lanka. We saw what are the problems which they faced in power sharing and how they succeeded in power sharing in Belgium. Belgium is one of the most important example for the successful power sharing in the world. At the same time, the Sri Lanka is the best example for the worst power sharing. So here the majority and the minority. The minority is demanding for the equal participation or equal representation. At the same time, the majority, they were not ready to give the proper consideration, recognition to the minority. So in the last class we discussed how the Belgium succeeded to share their power with the minority, and Sri Lanka, how they solved the issue by killing all the opponents, the most of the leaders from the LTTE, Liberation Tigers of Tamil Eelam. They killed almost all the leaders and they tried to suppress the issue. So today we need to discuss about the forms of power sharing. Most of you think that sharing power, which means dividing power or weakening the country. So that is our common notion or common thinking. If we will share the power with someone, automatically it will affect or it will weaken our power or it will weaken our country. That is our common notion. A similar thing was believed in the past. It was assumed that all the powers of a government must be resided in one person or a group of persons located at one place. Otherwise, it could be very difficult to make quick decision and to enforce them. Normally, when we conduct some discussion or debate regarding the demerits of democracy, most of the people, they used to point this point. In democracy, the democracy is a form of government. There, the people have the right to choose their representative, or we can say that it is a form, or it is the government which is elected by the people. So here in democracy, the people used to get direct or indirect chance to select their representatives or to show their opinion. Then those who are criticizing the democracy, they are saying that in democracy, if you want to take any decision, it will take too much time. One single person, he cannot take any sudden decision or important decision. He want to consider other ministers, he want to take the opinion from other ministers, the opposition members. So something like that. It is a long process and it is a time consuming process. So it will weaken the development of a country. But actually, that is in one way it is beneficial. But those notions have changed with the emergence of democracy. In democracy, the people rule themselves through instructions of self-government, institutions of self-government. Everyone has a voice in the shaping of public policies. Therefore, in a democratic country, political power should be distributed among citizens. But actually, only in democracy, the common people, irrespective of their caste, creed, sex, place of birth, linguistic, language, or his financial or educational status, all the citizens have direct or indirect role to select their representative or to express their opinion. So we can say that it is one of the finest form of government which is existing in India. It may have its own merits and demerits, but if you are comparing any other form of government, we can say that it is one of the finest form of government. So here, the common people, they will get a chance to select their representative. The people can express their opinion through election. In any other form, the people, they will not get any chance, or they don't have any kind of chance to elect or to select their rulers or the government. But only in democracy, we can say that the rule of the people or the government which is elected by the people. In democracy, the people are the key factors. They can select or they can choose their representative. The people, the common people, they have the voice. They can choose their own representatives. Forms of power sharing. In modern democracy, power sharing can be many forms as mentioned below. So in the modern democracy, we can find 4 types of power sharing. We can discuss in detail. First of all, power is shared among different organs of government such as the legislative, executive and judiciary. This is called horizontal distribution of power because it allows different organs of government placed at the same level to exercise different powers. Such a separation ensures that none of the organ can be exercise unlimited power, each organ is checked by others. This arrangement is called system of checks and balances. The first one, here the power is shared among the different organs of government. The 3 pillars of government, I think we know that, we already studied in our previous class or in the last 9th standard in the French Revolution. There also we studied about this 3 forms of government: legislature, executive and judiciary. So the power is divided into 3 separate organs of government, and each of these have equal power. That legislature, executive and judiciary, they have same level or same power. Because of that, it is called horizontal distribution. Everything, that legislature, executive and judiciary, they have same status, same level, same sort of power. Here we cannot say that the legislature is the supreme or executive is the supreme or judiciary is the supreme. all these three have the same level, same sort of power, and one cannot override other. One cannot influence the other. The legislature, they cannot influence the executive, or the executive, they cannot influence in the judiciary, or the judiciary, they cannot influence in the legislature. So all these three organs have the same level. Because of this reason, it is called the horizontal distribution of power. But if the legislature, if they are not working properly, the executive or the judiciary, they can interfere. Just like the same way, if the judiciary is not working properly, other two, legislature and executive, they can correct them. So because of this, each organ checks each other. Because of this, the system of power distribution is called system of checks and balances. The coming slide we can discuss in a little more. The second, the power can be shared among different governments at different level. The first we discussed the horizontal distribution. The power is divided into three, but all these three have the same power, same level. But second one, the power can be shared among the government at different level. So here the government is not have the same power. Some one form of government is considered as superior, another one is considered as inferior, and third one is the lowest. A general power, a general government for the entire country, and the governments at the provincial or regional level, which is called federal government. I think we know what is the meaning of federal form of government. More than one form of government is called federal form of government. In India, we have more than one form of government. One is at central government, and each state we have the state government, and in local level we have the panchayat or municipality or municipal corporation. In India, we are following the three tier of government, three different type of governments. So the more than one form of government, that is called federal form of government. This type of power distribution, that center, they have more power, they are considered as superior, and under the central government we can find state government that is coming and that is subordinate to the central government, and under state government we can find the local body. So here we can see one hierarchy. First one is the central government, under that state government, and at the local level, the lowest level, we can find the local level or Panchayati Raj. So this type of power distribution among the different government in different level, that is called the vertical distribution of power. First one, the first point, that is the horizontal power distribution. The three organs have the same power, but here the vertical distribution of power, here the central government is considered as superior, and subordinate to that the state government, and under that the local government. So this type of power distribution is called the vertical distribution of power. And the third one, the power may also be shared among different social groups, such as the religious and linguistic groups. Community government in Belgium is a good example of this arrangement. This method is used to give minority community a fair share in power. In some countries, they used to share the power with different groups linguistic groups or religious groups, and that is called the power sharing in different social groups. The best example is the community government in Belgium. In Belgium, they distributed the power equally, they distributed the power on the basis of linguistics. So that is the best example. Regarding that also we will discuss in the coming slide. And the last form of the power sharing, that is the power sharing arrangements can also be seen in the way political parties, pressure groups and movements control or influence those in power. When two or more parties form an alliance to contest election, and if they get elected, they form a coalition government and thus share the power. I think you know what is the meaning of coalition government. If one single party, if they didn't get majority to form the government, if any political party, if they want to form the government, a single party should secure more than 50% of the total seats. But if one single party, if they didn't get the simple majority, they can take the help from other political party, and two or more than two political party, they can make an alliance to form a government. That is called the coalition government. One of the best example of coalition government in India, that is in Maharashtra. That also we will discuss in the coming slide. So what are the things, what are these 4 points we can discuss in little more in detail. First one, the power shared among different organs of government. The 3 branches of government or 3 pillars of government. First one is the legislative, second one is the executive, and third one is the judiciary. We can discuss these 3 with the help of the Indian condition. Here we have the parliament, or in state level we have some states having the bicameral or unicameral form of government. Bicameral, unicameral means only one form of one type of elected representative, one house, that is the members of legislative assembly, MLA. Some states is having two houses, just like a parliament, upper house and lower house. The members of legislative assembly and members of legislative council, Vidhan Sabha and Vidhan Parishad. That is the examples of bicameral. 2. So these elected representatives in the state level as well as in the central level, that is in parliament, as well as in the state level, that is legislative assembly or legislative council in state level, and Rajya Sabha and Lok Sabha in central government. So these elected representatives, they are called the legislative. They can make the law. It is that is the main duty of the legislative. They used to make the law, and the ultimate authority in legislature, that in central level, that is PM, and in state level, that is CM. Then second one is the executive, that is administrators, the executing the law. For example, all the government employees or government officers or government the employees, that they comes under the executive. They are executing the plans of the government. So here in executive, the ultimate authority rested in the hands of the president, and in each state we can find the governors, and in each district we can find the collectors, IAS officers. So that is the structure comes in the executive. And third, that is judiciary, implementing the law or giving the explanation to the law. That is the duty of judiciary. So as a whole, in whole India, we can find the Supreme Court, that is in Delhi, and each state is having high courts, and each district is having district courts or municipal courts. So that is the power structure. The ultimate authority rested in the hands of the Supreme Court Chief Justice. Now the Sharath Arvind Bobde is the Supreme Court Chief Justice, and in each state we can find the High Court and High Court Chief Justice. He will be the authority in that particular state. So these are the three the forms of or branches of government: the legislative, executive, and judiciary. In this system, these three branches of government have the equal status, equal levels of power. They cannot interfere in each other's matter. The legislature, the CM or PM, they cannot interfere in judicial activity, or any judge, they cannot interfere in the other lawmaking duty or legislature or executive. These three are separate and independent branches of government, and there three are in a parallel or in a horizontal level. So that is why it is called the horizontal form of power sharing. The second point, power can be shared among government at different level. So in India, we have more than one form of government, that is called federalism. More than one form of government, that is called federal form of government. In India, we can find the central government, state government, and the local government. So here the ultimate power is exercised by the central government, the PM and other cabinet ministers. Under them we can find, in each state we can find the state government, the CM and other ministers, and the local government. In each village we can find the local body. According to the population in the local area, the form of government will change. If it is the rural area, we can find a Gram Panchayat, or if it is the urban area, we can find a municipality or municipal corporation. So it will vary. That is third, the local form of government. So in India, we used to say that we have the third tier government, three different levels of government, or we are a federal form of government. Here, the power is divided vertically. Highest one is central government, second state government, and third lowest is local government. So the power is vertically divided. And third, power shared among different social groups. The best example is from the Belgium. Just look at the first image. They also have the federal authority. The power is mainly divided into three. The ultimate authority rested in the hands of the king. So the king is have the control over entire Belgium. That indicates in the blue color, first image. The king, the federal government, the prime minister, ministers, secretaries of state, federal parliament, the senate, chambers of representatives. So the king is the ultimate authority. He have the control of the entire Belgium. That is the first form of government, just like the central government. And second one is the communities. They are sharing the power with the different communities. Here they share the power to the different linguistic groups. First one is Flemish, that is Dutch speaking area. Second one is the French community, that is second image. And third one is the German speaking community, this is the third. So according to the language, they shared the power. So they gave preference to the linguistic or language of the people, and according to that they shared their power. And the third form of government, that is the state, just like a region. The first one is the Flanders region, that is the Dutch speaking area. And second one is the Brussels, the capital. And third, the Walloon region. There we can find more French speaking people. So just like a state, they divide into three. First one is the Dutch speaking area, the second capital, third one is the French speaking or French majority area. So this is the best example of power sharing with different social group. So here they shared the power with the linguistic group. The second, community government, they formed the community government on the basis of different linguistic group, Dutch speaking people, French speaking people, and the German speaking people. On the basis of that, they divided the society, they shared the power. Then the fourth one, sharing the power with different political party or different political pressure groups. So one example is coalition government. The coalition government, which means if any single party they didn't get a majority to form the government, two or more political party they will come together and they will form the government. So this Maharashtra government, that is one of the best example for the coalition government at present. So in the last year, that is in 2 years back, in 2000, the last year, not in 2020, that is 2020, they conducted the election in Maharashtra, that is in state level election. In that, the total number of seats, that is 288. If any single party, if they want to make the government, they should get more than 50% of the seats, which means 145. That is a majority. And there we can find a main 4 political parties. First one is the BJP, Bharatiya Janata Party. Second one is SS, Shiva Sena. Third one is the Congress, INC, Indian National Congress. And third one is NCP, National Congress Party. So the BJP, out of these 288 seats, after the election, the BJP, they became the major single political party. They got more than 100 seats, 105 seats. Second, Shiva Sena, they secured 56 seats. Third, that NCP, they secured 54 seats. And last, Congress, they secured the fourth major political party, the Congress, they secured 44 seats. Before the election, the BJP and Shiva Sena, they were in alliance. But after the election, the Shiva Sena, they demanded the chief ministership, and the BJP, they were not ready to give the chief ministership to the Shiva Sena. So there was a breakup in the alliance between Shiva Sena and BJP. And the BJP, before the election, there was an alliance between Congress and NCP. So the Shiva Sena, they joined in the alliance of Congress and NCP. So now in Maharashtra, we can see the government of Shiva Sena, Congress and NCP. So the political party, the other political party, those who secured 56, 44 and 54, they formed the government and the main opposition, that is BJP. But here in the BJP, they became the major single political party, but they don't have the power. Now they were in opposition. The other three political parties, they made an alliance, and now they formed the government in Maharashtra. That is one of the best example for the coalition government. So these are the four types of power sharing. Once again, we can recollect that. First one, power shared, sharing the power among different organs of government, such as legislature, executive and judiciary. It is also called the horizontal distribution of power or system of checks and balances. Second, the power can be shared among different government or government level, such as the central government, state government and local government, or federal government, more than one form of government. It is also called the vertical distribution of power. Third, the power may also be shared among different social groups. The power is distributed among different religious groups or different linguistic group. The best example is a community government in Belgium. And the fourth one, last point, the power sharing arrangements can be seen in the way the political parties, pressure groups and other organizations, or other ways we can say that the power sharing with a different political party, that is coalition government. If any single party, if they didn't get the majority to form the government, they will take the help of other political party and they will form the government. That is called the coalition government. An example is at present the present Maharashtra government. I think this is clear to you. Thanks to